Are we live? Oh! Oh! Jeez Louise! Welcome! We're so late. What's this? 23 minutes late. Jesus. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Let me close my door. Oh my god. Can you all hear me? I've had to go and change literally every setting in this live stream. I'm so close up right now. This is crazy. Can you all hear me, yeah? Bloody Nora. Oh my god. Oh, everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. Absolutely everything. I literally cannot describe to you how much went wrong, guys. It was a madness. Right, let me tell everyone on Twitter that I am live. It's crazy. What a crazy day it has been today. This whole weekend. Hey? What a madness. What an absolute madness. How are you guys feeling? We're live. We're going to have to try and rattle through this show. Do you know how much content I've got for you today? Do you know how much content? Absolute madness, guys. First and foremost, if you're in here and you haven't yet, please subscribe. If you're in here and you haven't liked the video yet, please give the video a like. If you're in here and you haven't shared this on Twitter yet, please give it a share. Much appreciated. We've got a jam-packed show for you today. I'm going to take a drink. Guys, it's that kind of weekend. Absolute madness. Today on the show, I'm going to try and get everything in. I've got so much for you. We've got track guide with our guy, AMG Dens. He's got track information. He's got overtaking places. And of course, we've got the hot lap. Like, honestly, guys, last week's track guide was good. He's upped the levels again. I'm so proud of you, bro. Thank you so much for that. We've got a second tech time with Bryson. I think I said there was going to be some porpoising stuff in there. There's not. But that will be in the full video, which is going to come out this week, which is a half an hour chat with him, which I did before the start of the season. We're talking about the Mercedes car, which he discussed in more detail in this video, as well as what else did we talk about? Oh, side pods. It was a big side pod bit. So there was loads of talk about side pods. And also, we've got a chat with Rashi from Amazing Lou. So we talk about how she finds all these outfits and how she posts. And then we rate 3 of her favourite fits. And all of that, I've still got to do a chat with Brad Philpot live, which I'm going to try and make work. Hopefully this can work. I'm not sure. But hopefully it works. But look, without further ado, we've not got that much time today. Let's just rattle through it. This is the Quickstep F1 and AMG Dens track hot lap. Track information and hot lap. Oh my god, look. More drinks for me, guys. Watch this. It's incredible. Take it away, Dens.
Hello guys, it's AMG Dens and I'm back from the ends of North London. You see me wearing the merch. I'm on fire like Gasly, and in the streets they call me Planting Piastri, baby. Oh yeah. Now listen, massive thanks to everybody tuning into the show right now, and a huge honorable shout out to Tandy and Nyasha for having me back on for round 2 of our hot lap segments. So without further ado, let's take a spin. Guys, so you join me here in Saudi Arabia with the beautifully tantalizingly sweet W13. As you can see, it's got the little zero side pods here, which we just love. It's a really unique feature, cooling vents. And just to give you a little shot of the first straight going into the first corner. So 3.8 mile circuit built on top of the Red Sea. It's got an average speed of 160 miles an hour, making it the fastest street circuit there is. Also happens to be the second average speed circuit just after Monza, which we know is a crazily fast speed track. And on top of that as well, it's the second longest circuit just after Spa. I also thought that you guys might find it interesting that the circuit is not designed by Herman Tilke, but no, it's actually made by Carsten Tilke, his son, which I thought was quite intriguing to let you guys know as well. So any further waffle, what we'll do is we'll do a track guide just showing you a couple of corners. We'll go through some of the adjustments Lewis Hamilton would make, and then we'll throw in some overtakes as well. We'll dice it up in terms of the order that you'll see now.
So onto the overtaking hotspot number 1. This is turn 13, the hairpin, impairs slipstream, start to the left hand side, on the racing line. I try and outbrake him, he sticks around the outside, but there's no grip out there. Follow the McLarens through and pick up a nice slipstream, and that's the move done. So on to our next two hotspots. As you can see, I'm following K-Mag through, the Danish Viking. I'm going to go for a late lunge into turn 27. But as you can see, he actually gets the cutback. So again, the drivers can strategically hold back in that corner and then get the DRS, which helps him pull away. But anyway, we're going to follow him into turn 1. And what I'm going to do is just get my braking point just right, go around the outside of turn 1. He tries to hang it in on the inside, but my right-hander turns to the inside for turn 2. And that's awesome move at turn 1 as well. So again, many opportunities. So now we're going to get into car adjustments, and watching Lewis's onboard, he actually makes 4 adjustments to the brake bias throughout a hot lap. So let's check those out. So into turn 1, on the straights, Lewis is adjusting the brake bias from 57 on the front to 55. That basically means he's giving more power towards the rear brakes. That's going to help tip the nose of the car into the first corner. Into turn 3, going on to turn 4, he goes up on the brake bias by 1 click to 56%. This essentially helps stabilize the front end of the car or make it more stable for the next sweeping set of corners. Into the blind swingers of 16 and 17, a right and a left, Lewis ups the brake bias again by a click to 57% on the brake bias, adding further stability to the front whilst he's going through those high-speed corners. And again, massive credit to Lewis on this lap as well, because he had so much traffic, and as you can see in the picture, there's Alfa Romeo there, and he's making all of these adjustments to the car at ridiculous speeds, this unforgiving circuit, while still lapping with these cars. So awesome. And for the final adjustment, he's gone down on the brake bias to 56%. This is to help shift the weight transfer to the rear of the car to help him pivot the nose into the final corner. You know, the final corner that stopped a certain somebody from setting apparently the best lap of all time. Yeah, right. Anyway, time for the track guide.
So boom, you join me for the track guide element of this tutorial. There are many considerations that the Formula 1 teams are going to be taking into account whilst they try and find the setup for these cars, because unfortunately, due to the simplified front wings, the cars are just not as edgy, as precise as they were in the past, with all that lovely downforce. So that is a factor, and also the additional weight is a factor when it comes to the high speed change of the cars in the corner. So anyway, first reference for turn 1 is this 100-meter board on the right hand side here. You want to bring the car as far as you can to the right hand side of the circuit and then keep the wheel as straight as possible, so you minimize the amount of braking distance. Coming into turn 1, you just want to basically caress the screen curb. Do not, I repeat, do not abuse that orange sausage curb over there, or else it will completely unsettle the car and throw you wide off the apex of turn 2. So turn 1, just a little kiss. Turn 2, just a little bit of a kiss, and then you short shift into third gear to minimize the wheel spin, keep the wheel as straight as possible to get on the power without any drama. So coming to 100-meter board, dab the brakes left, right, and then you just want to lift the accelerator to let the car resettle, and then left again, right. Lewis does this all in 6th gear. Just caress the car on the left here and then let it run wide on the build up to turn 13. So interesting talking point for the next corner, very cool turn 13, is that it's a banked corner, meaning that the inside of the track is a bit like Yuki Tsunoda and it's really short, and then the further out you go off the racing line on the right hand side, it gets much taller, like Esteban Ocon. So there are many benefits of this circuit design, and in particular this corner design. It means that it promotes side-by-side racing and overtaking with multiple different lines you can take. There are 2 lines that we're going to look at for this corner. So you want to brake either at the 50-meter board, the marshal's post, which is kind of adjacent to it, or the end of the curb if you're really trying to send it, like Daniel Ricciardo. And essentially, if you go for the wider line, you can brake very late, and then apex the corner slightly later than you would normally. This means that you can carry more speed and potentially try and move around the outside. The disadvantage of doing that is that you might get crowded out, and secondly of all, you have to put more steering lock on the wheel to make the turn, which increases temperature buildup in the front tires, kills the tires. You could alternatively go with a more conventional line and essentially minimize the width of the corner. So it's slightly more slower, you'd have to scrub off slightly more speed, but it helps protect and preserve the front tires. So coming out of turn 13 now, gingerly get on the throttle because the tires are really cold and the W13 hates cold tires. Don't blame it. You've got a kind of scary sequence of blind corners coming into sector 2. So the first one, just dab the brake at the 100 meter, keep the car in 6th gear, right and then left, get the car straight again. And then you're basically gonna hit the first DRS detection point of the lap. Also, zoom, you know what time it is, you know where it is, you know it's time to give us that little bonus, that little endorsement. But anyway, you've got the little DRS reference board here, and if you're really blind like me, you've got this white line as well, which is also a reference point for the drivers. So moving it swiftly onwards, you're gonna get what I call the hotel section, which to me is one of the scariest sections of this circuit because you really can't see what's ahead of you. It's a completely blind apex. So as I said, you've got this kind of building or facility, a bridge. You basically want to dab the brakes. Bear in mind the drivers at full speed be going at 8th gear. You want to downshift into 2nd, dab the brake, and just get the nose of the car tucked in for this left-hander. But as you could see, you can just about make the first apex, but you can't see further than that. And bear in mind, we're going into this little bit underneath this facility, or this, it's almost like a hotel. It kind of reminds me of Abu Dhabi. Don't remind me of Abu Dhabi. But anyway, yeah, so swiftly moving forward then, at the end of sector 2, you'd be in 6th gear at really high speeds. Just bring the car over to the left and the right. Try and reduce your steering input or also make the car really unsettled. And just amongst all these crypto markers, again, you want to make sure that you set up your DRS with the 2 points that you have here, or the white line that you have there, either one. And from here, you only have one job, and it's funny that you only have one job, but one Dutchman who set the best lap time that never ever got completed, Max Verstappen. Yeah, you only have one job, and it's really simple. You brake at this 100 meter board here. And unlike Max, what Max tried to do essentially out of turn 27 was he got really impatient, broke extremely late trying to make up all the time to match Lewis's lap. He took an early apex, which meant that he understeered when he got onto the power and sent the car into the wall. You don't want to do that. What you essentially want to do is stay on the right hand side of the circuit, brake at the 100 meter board. As you're braking, take a late apex, so come out here and then bring the car in. And when you do that now, by the time you hit apex of the corner, the wheels are already straight. Another thing I want to talk about before we hit this, or actually we're going to hit the DRS detection point here anyway. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of gamesmanship between the drivers going into that final turn, because the run into the first corner is probably one of the longest runs alongside maybe Baku. And for that reason alone, you might see drivers basically backing off and conceding the position to get the DRS detection point so they can repass their up going into the first corner, which is pretty cool. So anyway, I'm going to show you a proper hot lap, no fraudulent, throwball, higgy hagger, crash into turn 27 thing. Real things on Quick Stop F1. I'll take you to it now.
Well. That was man like Dens. Oh gosh. Right, guys. We're gonna roll through it. Because I've got special guests coming on right now from the Missed Apex podcast. I don't think I've got the overlays done properly, so I'm literally gonna have to set this up whilst we're on screen. So forgive me. This is gonna look a bit behind the scenes ish, okay? But just give me a second. Hold on. You can see him there, right? Brad.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Right, I'm just going to crop this so we don't have to see all of this. Look, this is the glamour of live streaming, guys. Here we go. And we're just going to stick you there. And there you are. Brad, welcome to the live stream. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going well. I've had a very, very busy day. I've been building an animal enclosure in my garage because we're having our garden done. And I've got ducks and rabbits that need somewhere to live. I've been washing my car, and I'm just finished, ready for the Grand Prix. So
wow,
I'm looking forward to this.
So big day. That sounds really adultish. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Really, really adult stuff you've got going on there.
I've had a drill. I've been like putting in raw plugs and
nice.
Building stuff. Yeah.
Nice. I'm still in the phase of like I could just about do flat pack furniture at the moment. I think that's like where I'm at, and the next stage is like, actual proper stuff of building. But look, we're not here to discuss my masculinity. We're here to discuss the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I guess, look, what I'd love to talk to you about, first and foremost, the events of Friday night, right?
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, or just to recap, we had a situation where an Aramco was like an oil facility, basically, which was 10 kilometers from the track. Sorry if my maths is wrong, but was essentially hit by a missile strike as part of the ongoing conflict between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, I think. And so obviously this happened during practice, and we could see the smoke coming out during practice. Obviously it's caused concerns, and it's so close to the Grand Prix site and the safety of everyone involved. We then have a situation where, we're told the race is going to go ahead anyway, but then the drivers meet, the team principals meet. Team principals come out at about 11:30ish, and they're like, like GMT, and they're like, we're gonna race. And then it turns out that the drivers kind of stay behind, and it's quite clear that they don't want to race, and there's been some misgivings. And then in the end, team principals go back, and essentially the drivers then decide that they've received enough information to race, essentially. Having followed all of that, I guess, and everything that's happened, I guess, what are your thoughts on, I guess, just the race going ahead, the fact that we're there, and I guess all of the worries we kind of have about, I guess maybe some of the hypocrisy some people have said about Russia compared to Saudi Arabia and so forth. And I guess, what's your thoughts on all that? I guess I don't want to turn you into a political correspondent at all, but I guess, in terms of just Formula One at Saudi Arabia, thoughts?
Yeah, so don't worry about turning me into a political correspondent, because I'm quite clear on my views on Twitter. So if anybody wants to know what I think about things, I think I'm pretty open and honest.
Yeah.
In my social media anyway. It's not a country I would choose to hold a sporting event at, and I know that they are holding lots of real world and esports events and all sorts of things in an attempt to portray the country as more progressive and more modern and not as backward as some of the laws that still exist there would suggest. Plus, obviously, we've got this conflict or rebels, attacking with missiles on the fringes of the city and that kind of thing. It's not a good place to be holding a Grand Prix. I've said my piece on the kind of social issues that are problems there anyway, and I've heard the counter arguments from Formula One. In fact, I just listened to an interview just a few moments ago with it would have been Domenicali talking about we go to these places to shine a light on these issues, which is just, it's just a rationalization. They go there because they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
It's nothing to do with that. And I'm sure there are, we saw how quickly Russia was alienated as a country from the sport and Russian sponsors and Russian drivers and that kind of thing. So I don't buy that we're going to places to shine a light on things. But just with this particular incident, with the missile attack, it seems to me, I've got no insider information aside from what we've all heard. It seems to me that the drivers were told that the track is the safest place to be. If you've got safety concerns, the track's no less safe than being anywhere else. This is where we have the most security.
Yeah.
Although I don't know the safety and security details, but I can't see how increased number of security guards or men with guns is going to stop a missile incoming. Maybe they've got some kind of crazy anti-missile defense system. Who knows? But long and short of it is, we shouldn't be having these conversations around the Formula One race, around any sport, if the situation is this kind of unsafe and critical, and this isn't just one random act. This is like a series of, they said this kind of thing happens all the time. If that's the case, we shouldn't be there. That's my thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think someone said it the other day. I think it was Curtis Moldrich, the car magazine editor, who said, like, Formula One is eating itself. And, we're lurching from disaster to disaster, bad decision to bad decision, clear money grab to clear money grab. And look, I keep saying this, Formula One is a business. Liberty bought it to raise the value of it and, keep it, or maybe sell it off for a profit. So if they just came out and said this is a money grab, then you almost have a bit more respect for them. But this whole idea of trying to justify being where they are, given the events of what is happening where they are, as anything other than a cash grab, it's like they're pissing on our shoes and telling us it's raining, to be honest. And I find it incredible. And I do feel sorry for the drivers, but I think it was cool to see the drivers make a stand, right?
Yeah, it was. It's a shame. I feel it's a shame. Not that I don't want to see a race go ahead, but it seems a shame that it all kind of came to nothing. And it seems like, once again, the money is the thing that won out. And the drivers' concerns were, they were either pushed to one side. I've heard that drivers still have reservations. I would, if I was there, not that I could go there legally, because of my own religious views on other things, I'd be too scared to go. I wouldn't want to go. In fact, I admire the people. There's a few kind of LGBTQ plus people out there who are effectively taking their lives in their own hands. Although I'm sure they've also had security assurances.
Yeah,
I wouldn't risk that. I wouldn't want to be there. But yeah, so it's a shame that the drivers' concerns were effectively swept aside. Maybe they were given more security assurances than we're giving F1 credit for. But anyway, I agree with what the points you were making. F1 seems to be on the verge or kind of heading into a really strong, positive, profitable, global period where, I heard some people talking at the pub about Formula One yesterday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which I never, normal random people that would never normally be having these conversations. In fact, quite young people. This was like a group of 18 to 20-year-olds I kind of sat near us. These things weren't happening a couple of years ago, but because of the position we're in, they are happening.
Yeah.
Formula One does have a spotlight on it. So it seems so unnecessary that we're gambling for even more money when we're already going to be making loads of money.
Yeah.
We're gambling to go to places like this, which are kind of borderline dangerous or, risky. And even if the safety of everyone is completely fine and assured, just the controversy of going there is bad enough that we shouldn't really.
Yeah, 100%. But look, there is a race going ahead, and today, which is going to kick off in about 26 minutes, I was late onto the stream, so I can't even stay with you as much as I wanted to, but I definitely do want to get your thoughts about, I guess let's talk about the Mercedes pace yesterday, and I guess specifically Lewis Hamilton. 16th place. Clearly not comfortable with the car. How worried are you about what's going on at Mercedes at the moment?
I'm not. I've said this before. I think I even said it on your podcast.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not a full fan of anyone in particular.
Yeah.
I was kind of moved into fandom of Hamilton last year because of anti-fandom of Verstappen. I didn't like the things he was doing and the way he went about things and the way the Red Bull team conducted themselves. So I was kind of just automatically by default a Hamilton fan because he was the rival of Verstappen. And so I'm not worried because I've watched the sport for decades and I know that competitiveness of teams ebbs and flows. It would be a shame from my point of view if Hamilton didn't end his career as the undisputed greatest of all time in terms of all the statistics. And so I was quite keen to see him get his 8th, just to put that to bed, just so you could tick that box. And it didn't really matter what happened next. So if he'd won the championship last year, I wouldn't really care at all if the Mercedes were off the pace this year, because aside from it being exciting, having extra people up there, and it'd be great to see Hamilton also fighting for these wins, it would kind of already be done. But because I still want him to get that, because I feel like he deserves that and he should go away as greatest of all time, and there are so many haters who will come up with any excuse to take that kudos away from him.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to see how far off they are, because I feel like given a sniff, given a car, you saw what happened at the beginning of the last race. Look how long he hung on to the back of Sainz, despite Ferrari being way quicker. If the car was a few tenths quicker, he'd be making something happen and we'd have more exciting races, even as an outside chance. But it's frustrating seeing it so far off the pace. And, 16th is a bit of an anomaly, but it's not good. And
at all.
I'm a bit afraid that they don't really know what the issue is. And they talk about the porpoising holding them back, and that's the main thing. But I saw loads of cars right at the front porpoising like crazy yesterday, and it doesn't seem to slow the Ferrari down. And it's bouncing like crazy down the straight in qualifying. So I feel like maybe the car isn't as quick as they think it potentially is. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they sort it out.
I am not. I'm not worried about the capabilities of the team. I think the team have shown they're a capable team who can develop themselves out of trouble. I think we saw that in 2017 and 2018. You could argue we saw that last year, although there was a lot of issues throughout last year, I think, until they were really able to turn the engine up from Brazil onwards, I guess. And I guess there was some, there was the Silverstone upgrade and so forth, and there was only one upgrade really, but they did in the end find out how best to use the car. But they were still within touching distance by, at the points where they were able to. At this point in time, they just can't have any repetitions of this weekend, essentially, and still harbour ambitions to win the world title, because it could run away from them, and that's the thing. So if they are going to get on top of it, it has to happen quite soon, I guess.
So my worry is that it's a very long way away, and admittedly maybe the fix is a fix which gains them loads of time, but it's also a very quickly moving target. The teams that they're trying to get back on terms with are developing super fast. Plus we've got this background potential engine issue, and obviously not reliability, just the fact
power.
The engines just seem to not be. It just seems like it's not a coincidence that all of the Mercedes teams are doing so badly. And Spanners from Missed Apex in our WhatsApp group. If you don't know, Spanners is a former engineer, like a kind of systems fault finding engineer, and he said if the engine isn't an issue, then that's the more surprising outcome. Because, it's not necessarily that the engine's the problem. It might be coincidence that all the Mercedes teams are at the back and then they just all have their own issues. But that would be the more surprising answer if it's true. So it's more likely that there is a common issue there.
Well, look, we will see. I'm sorry, this is a quick in and out. I had all kinds of issues before coming on air, but I really want to get from you, Brad, quickly. what are your thoughts for the battle at the front? Who do you think is going to win out today? Do you think Checo's got it to be able to stay in front, or do you think the Ferraris will swallow him up?
So I don't think Checo's got it, unfortunately. Great lap yesterday.
Yeah.
Checo in the same way that you could be confident Bottas was going to probably not be there at the end.
Yeah.
Checo's like fine, solid. I don't think he's going to be able to outrace two very hungry Ferraris behind him, especially because he'll have a slow pit stop or something to let Max come through. I doubt that Max will end the race behind Perez. However, I do predict that there's going to be some kind of carnage which changes this order a lot.
I mean, look, this track is, I mean, you would be a fool not to bet against the red flag at some point of some sort. You know, the way
I think the only session of the whole weekend in Formula 2 and Formula 1 that didn't have a red flag so far was the F2 feature race. So I think almost every session has a red flag.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw the Mick accident and then Ocon doing nearly the same thing, you know, the session, you know, the Q3 afterwards. So, you know, really do hope that everyone's safe, but a safety car at least is gonna happen at some point. So it'll be an exciting race. Look, Brad, thank you so much for coming on. You didn't have to do it, but you did, and you've given us a lovely. And look, we'll get you on the podcast proper at some point as well, and have a little chat.
Awesome. Have a good race.
Take
Enjoy.
care. You too, bro. Bye
Bye, guys.
So, that was Brad. I'm gonna end this call with him because he doesn't need to be there. Guys, right? What are the comments that I'm seeing? Jay Starship. I'm not doing Will Buxton pregnant pauses, okay? I just don't know what I'm gonna say next. Let me live. Please don't compare me to Will, you bastard. Anyway, look, quickly before we go, I don't think we're going to have time for the Bryson tech talk, but I really want to show you this interview with an amazing person. We've got Rashi from Amazing Lou, who does like the style and she does a style guide. So whatever Lewis wears in the paddock, she tries to find what those pieces are and lets you know where they're from. And she's really cool. And I had a really cool chat with her the other day. And this is what she had to say. Take a look. Check it out. Not pregnant pauses. Right. This guest. I don't think you guys understand. Okay? We see all these bits that Lewis has got on. And we're wondering, how do we do it? What is he wearing? How do I get that information? We were lost before. We're not lost anymore. Because I have got Rashi from the amazing page, Amazing Lou. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? Round of applause for you. How you doing?
Thank you so much for that introduction. I probably haven't ever got such a greeting ever in my life. So I am, that's such a blessing.
Okay, so the page has grown and grown. So what's the process for you? Let's say Lewis turns up at track. Obviously, you know, you, I guess, don't know what he's going to wear. No, you're not aware of what he's going to wear.
I don't have a clue.
So Lewis turns up on track wearing something fire. What's the process you go through to find out what he's wearing and then be able to get pictures and post it? Is it just, I guess, are you just aware of what has been released essentially or is there like a process you have to go through?
Yeah, that actually is one of the points. And one of the ways is like very straightforward sometimes. Like I know, right? Like now Law Roach has been
Absolutely
styling him.
done. Oh my God.
So exactly. So I've been following Law as well before he even started, styling Lewis.
Yeah.
So I know what he's into. I know that he loves, dressing everyone he's styling into all the latest collections. So in general, I keep a tab on, I tweeted the other day that I'm going to read the Bible, that is Vogue, so that I can manifest his look for the day. But I pretty much, keep going through these collections on Vogue, especially because they have like an entire repository. And then, of course, Instagram, most of the things that I like or what I think, might look could on Lewis.
Ah,
So I keep saving them. I keep saving them. So of course it's obviously like it's a hit and miss. The other day the Alexander McQueen one he wore, I think in Bahrain, the sweater. That
yes,
one I'd actually saved that uh, in one of my folders on Instagram, and I I was like, wow,
done it. That's
wow,
crazy.
that was a surprise. Yeah.
Look, the other day we're all just chilling on the timeline. You know, everyone's just hanging out, having a nice day, and then a clip pops up. I was like, oh, it's Naomi Schiff talking to Louis. Right, this guest. I don't think you guys understand.
I tweeted the other day that I'm going to read the Bible, that is Vogue, so that I can manifest his look for the day. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much, keep going through these collections on Vogue, especially because they have like an entire repository. And then, of
Yeah.
course, Instagram, most of the things that I like or what I think, might look good on Lewis.
Ah,
So I keep saving them. I keep saving them. So of course it's obviously like it's a hit and miss. The other day the Alexander McQueen one he wore, I think in Bahrain, the sweater. That
yes.
one I'd actually saved that uh, in one of my folders on Instagram, and I was like, wow,
Done it. That's
wow,
crazy.
that was a surprise. Yeah.
Look, the other day we're all just chilling on the timeline. You know, everyone's just hanging out, having a nice day, and then a clip pops up. I was like, oh, it's Naomi Schiff talking to Lewis Hamilton, and you know, it's fine. They've been having an interview. You know, there's clips been coming out, right? And but they're just talking. And then she's like, "Oh, do you know the page Amazing Lou?"
I don't know if you know about the Instagram page called Amazing Lou. Do you know about it?
Yes, she's amazing. Yeah, I think it's a young girl, right?
I'm not sure, but I know
It's a
that.
young girl that checks out all my outfits.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think it's a young girl, but
Very impressive.
very, very impressive.
But-
She finds out where everything's coming from.
It was
how'd you
crazy,
go?
of course, and how I even got to know about it was someone I don't recall. So someone just randomly tweeted that Lewis is talking about you on this interview on Sky. I'm like, it took me a while to process that information. Like, if you see my tweet, I literally replied and said, "Are you kidding me?" So then I had to, and Sky of course is geo blocked everywhere, so I had to like
Yes.
turn on the VPN, then watch the entire video on YouTube, and then at the end where he mentioned it, I was like, oh my god, like he's saying the page name. Naomi is saying it, so that was pretty shocking. And I was wondering why. Now I'm connecting the dots. I mean, I think one of these days Spins did share one of my posts on his story,
Yeah.
and that is when Naomi actually followed me on Instagram on
Oh
the same page.
wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and everything followed after that is what
Man,
happened. So yeah, I mean, I was pretty confused. Why would Naomi even follow that page?
I couldn't get you on the show without breaking down some of your favorite Lewis fits, right?
Yeah.
So let's go in no particular order. Let's start with look one, which is the. See, this is how you know I'm like not refined. Am I saying this right? Jacquemus.
Yeah, it's Jacquemus.
Jacquemus. You
Yeah,
see?
and I think it's pronounced very differently than, I mean, I'm no expert
Yeah.
in French, but yeah, I mean these names are pretty confusing sometimes.
Well,
But
look,
yeah, it's
so you can see I'm not in that world. So this look yesterday, I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. I think this might be my favorite.
yes,
I
yes.
like
It's already my favorite. I know, I just know he cannot top it anytime this year.
it's just in the mad thing is, yeah, I think someone tweeted like he's just turned up to talk to the engineers. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if this is how he's turning up to work just to go over some data,
Yeah.
incredible. So, I guess what is it about this look that you enjoy? I mean, it's just obviously it's an incredible look, but why is it one of your favorites, and why? And I guess why is it such a good look?
Honestly, I would say it's the color,
Mm.
because you would not expect anybody to turn up in broad daylight in Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia in all red. And he had that
Oh,
bag
goodness.
and everything going on.
Yeah.
So that that is what I love about him the most, right? Like, he does not give a shit. He does not care what anybody is thinking about him. He will come, yeah, he will come there. He will he will be there and he'll kill everyone. He had his face covered with a mask.
Yeah, but I feel like
He's not even showing his face.
the mask even add like the mask and glasses even adds to it. Like,
Exactly my point. All, like, everything is
yeah,
elevating his look.
yeah, I love it. No, what a look that was. Into look number 2, which is this. We were talking about the color of the last look, but the color of this look is Imola 2020 look. Let
Exactly.
me just get it up on a big screen here because I didn't even notice the mask, the Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter masks as well.
exactly. Yeah.
So, what brand is this, and why was it one of your favorites?
This was Heron Preston and Levi's. And why it's one of my favorites, because I mean, again, like, the denim. I love a good denim, and when
Yeah,
he wears denim overalls, it is amazing. Like, you
he
just
does
have to
love a
bow
double
down.
denim, doesn't he?
Exactly. And he wore, I think the last time he wore denim was, I think, in Paris. It
Paris,
was
yeah.
it was a Balenciaga look. So
Oh,
I mean, yeah, anybody can wear another blue denim overalls, right? Like,
yeah.
the pink, however. And that was actually styled by his previous stylist, Alicia.
Okay.
So that's why it's one of my favorites, because uh, I mean, it's just one of the best looks of that entire year.
Incredible that this guy is turning up to the circuit just dressed so fucking well. Like, it is like such a blessing. And it just, like, you see the reaction of everyone, and everyone just loves it so much. Like, seeing
Exactly,
what he
yeah.
wears, it's a whole thing. I just think, like, we're all just so blessed that we're witnessing history in real time. There'll be, like, when we see the
Exactly.
documentary.
That's what I keep saying as well. Like, we are witnessing history. We don't. I don't like to talk about this at all, but when our words, everyone's gonna miss it.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna miss it, because the photographers are not gonna be there, all lined up, clicking photos, fighting for their lives,
yeah.
running behind him. They're not gonna do that with any other in the paddock.
How this outfit, number 3, this guy, like, it is incredible. So break down this one, because this is probably, I know it's probably one of the more polarizing ones, I guess, mostly with people who don't like Lewis and don't like fashion and
Yep.
and I think that, to be fair, I think the people who don't like Lewis, the people who don't like fashion, if it was a Venn diagram, it would just be a whole circle. I mean, like,
Exactly.
they're probably all
Exactly.
very unstylish people. So, but I mean, this third look, break it down. What is he wearing, and I guess why is this one of your favorites?
So, I mean, whenever I look at those pictures, right, of him
Mm.
arriving in that outfit, I am speechless. I
Yeah,
am always speechless, because I understand. Uh, I had to delete a lot of comments from my post as well when I posted it.
yeah.
So, and I often have to do it when I post about him, right? That's why, like, I limited comments now, so I don't get a lot of negativity anymore. But
Wow,
yeah, I
that's
mean,
horrible, man.
exactly. So when I posted that one, uh, I was so happy to see that he wore it, because I cannot imagine anybody, wearing it and pulling it off. From
Yeah.
his hair to down to the look, I mean, it was Burberry head to toe, pretty much. And that was obviously a look straight from their, I think, 2022 resort uh, collection.
Okay.
So it was pretty great. And the creative director, right, for Burberry, he pretty much the entire concept behind that collection was, sort of uh, immer like uh, these feminine and
Okay.
masculine, yeah, elements coming together, and you sort of breaking that entire barrier of identifying these elements differently.
Yeah.
So and you can see it. I mean, it was a kilt and that jacket with the Burberry,
Yeah.
signature Burberry print, and it was amazing.
No, look, look. Your page is dope. Like, it is so cool. Like, I just love it, and it's educating me. Like, I'm looking at it. I'm seeing brands. I'm like, okay, like now I know it. This is the Jackmas. See, I was calling it something different. Do you know what I mean? So, no, thank you so much. I want to give you another round of applause. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate that, and well done to you. And yeah, guys, go and follow her page. She is great. And that's it. Thank you very much. Whoa. Love that interview. What an interview. Well, look, guys. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. I know we're like minutes away from the race starting, so let's all go watch the race. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for chatting. All of you guys in the chat, I love you guys. The same people, man, are turning up every week. It means the world to me. I spent a lot of time getting this stuff together, and to see the reaction it gets is so cool, man. I think we've had, at the peak, we had double what we had last week, so that's incredible. Shout out to Dens, shout out to Rashid, shout out to Brad, shout out to Bryson, who we couldn't get on today, but shout out to you guys, man. Please give the video a like if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed, give us a subscription. Let's all go watch this race. Come on, Lewis. God bless you all. Take care. In a bit. Goodbye.